But if we look at where we are today and we look at where we were just 7 or 8 months ago, our economy was on the brink of collapse. Unemployment rates were climbing at unprecedented rates, where we were losing 600,000-700,000 jobs a month. The stock market had crashed. The housing market had crashed. Our budget deficit just ballooned. And all of this was because of the policies, Mr. Speaker, that we had in this country from 2000 to 2008. And if it weren't for an election in 2006, we would have went further over the cliff. And those are the facts of the matter. And the facts of the matter are that during that time, the House, the Senate, the White House were all controlled by Republicans. And we got the Milton Friedman, supply side, Ronald Reagan, cut taxes for the wealthiest 1% of the people in the country, and hope that health care would get fixed, energy would get fixed, and the economy would get fixed, and then people would get jobs at some point. Well, it's important for all of us to recognize that we don't have to go to some theoretical school book to figure out if the supply side Republican neoconservative domestic and foreign policy program works. It has been implemented, and it has been an absolute failure on all accounts by all measures. And our friends on the Republican side now who say, oh my God, this health care bill that the Democrats are trying to push is going to cost $800 billion, $900 billion over 10 years. But it's important for us to recognize that it was the Bush tax cuts that went to primarily the top 1% of the people in the country that cost $2.5 trillion over 10 years. So don't come to us about a health care bill that costs $800 to $900 billion, end up saving the country a bunch of money in the long run, end up fixing the health care problem, because you were the ones, and they were the ones, Mr. Speaker, who were walking in lockstep, following George Bush right over the cliff. $2.5 trillion in tax cuts, primarily to the top 1%, over 10 years, bankrupted the country. And now all of a sudden everybody's concerned about the budget deficit. All of a sudden everyone's concerned about borrowing money from China. And what we're saying is the investments that we are going to make are going to stop health care projections from growing at 9% a year and try to bring some justice to the system so that average people can afford health care, so that average people don't get sick and then try to go get health care and an insurance company says, we can't cover you, you have cancer. But my cancer is fixed, the patient says, but it hasn't been gone for 10 years, so we can't cover you. Or when we attempt to change the energy policy in this country, which my friend Mr. Boccieri has become an expert on because of his position in the military and his recognition of this as a national security issue, but when we send $750 billion a year from the United States of America to Middle Eastern countries and foreign countries to buy oil, countries who don't traditionally support our views or our values or our democratic principles, we send this every year to them, money that goes out of our economy into these OPEC countries. And then a couple of years ago, Mr. Boccieri, we spent $115 or $120 billion out of our defense bill to escort ExxonMobil ships and big oil ships coming in and out of the Persian Gulf. So all these teabaggers that want to stand up like they're the most patriotic people in the United States of America are saying we shouldn't change our energy policy. We should continue sending $115 billion a year out of our defense budget to escort these big oil ships in and out of the Persian Gulf. Is that pro-American? I don't believe it is.